Good morning.
Hi. Hello.
Oh my
Hello.
gosh. We've already got 5 likes. We just started.
Well, one of them was yours.
Oh.
Happy Monday. Sorry, I was writing that in the chat. I want to be the first person to leave a chat this morning.
I don't know if it'll be on mute or not.
Tis on mute.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be on today. We've been doing a lot less lives over the last couple weeks, so it's nice to get on and chat with everybody. How were your weekend sales? Ours were not good. We had, I would say, like 50% from what we normally do. But it was nice to be able to, I guess, catch up, get some shipping done, and then be able to work on some other stuff this morning and have a little bit more time back. But we're writing it on our calendar. This was kind of a slow weekend. I don't really know what to attribute that to. Do you?
I don't know. It was Father's Day, so maybe people were out of town or traveled. But for the most part, I don't know. I'm not sure what it would have been. I was trying to see exactly how many we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I think it was
There's 13 on Poshmark and 22, so 35?
Yeah.
22 and 30, what did I say? 30 something. Yeah,
it's really low for us.
Not as many as I'd like.
Good morning, Illinois, Connecticut. USPS is closed today. We still do our shipping whenever the post office is closed, because if we don't, normally what happens is we come in on Tuesday and then there's so much to ship and then we get kind of behind. So even if the post office is closed, we still go ahead and get those items packaged up, print the labels, and just get the items ready to ship for the next day. That way there is less.
Good morning from Illinois.
Morning.
Oh, I was like, what is CY? CT, Connecticut. I was like, okay, I don't want to ask because what if it's a state and I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, yes. Yeah, it was kind of odd that USPS was closed. I had a really hard time wrapping my head around it because normally we don't work on holidays, but we decided we were going to work this holiday. And I don't know. So it's weird being here and the post office being closed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes. Good morning, fellow Ohioan. What'd y'all think of this weather? This is so good. If you're from Ohio, I'm assuming you had similar weather to what we did. We went from being with a heat index of 110, Wednesday, Thursday last week, to it being 65 on Saturday. And it actually got down to the 40s this weekend, which was really nice. I got to have a bonfire, which I love bonfires. And it was sweatshirt weather. It was very fallish. I was very appreciative of it. So happy for the milder weather. I was dying in the heat. Yeah. Wednesday's supposed to be 99 again with the heat index. So prepare to die Wednesday because it's about to be real hot.
Bonfires are really nice when it's chilly out, which I feel like it kind of was.
Yeah.
It's like a cozy, you get your cold, but then you get your warm. It's the best. Yeah, it must have been from Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. So let's talk about, I'm in Louisiana. The heat is really worrying me for hurricanes. Yeah, that's one reason, even though I talk about moving to warmer weather states, that would concern me. Going to a beach state, I guess, is the kind of hurricanes that you get. That is a little concerning.
Hi from Canada. Good morning.
Morning. So let's talk about last week. We did inventory last week.
Let me just tell you, if I have to look at another number again, I'm about to lose my flipping mind. We thought we could get through it in a day, and it ended up taking us 2. I'm still not done. We're done going through bins and counting and things like that, but I have an entire tote of things that I need to go back and figure out if they were just in the wrong place, if they're not listed at all, or what the situation is. It was a mess, long story short, but good process, just a lot to go through. We have I don't even know how many, over 5,000
Just over
listings.
5,000, yep.
And it was a lot, some of which we hadn't gone over in almost an entire year. And there were a lot of issues with the older stuff. But it was really good. We found some things that we didn't really want to list anymore. We talk about sometimes about pulling things out of your closet that are maybe just taking up space that shouldn't be there. So Cayley went through and kind of pulled out some things that we probably shouldn't have listed in the store anymore to donate. And moral of the story, the bins are very organized. They're like layered by the numbers, and I'm very excited about it. But I got a little slap happy with our helper and could not stop laughing. So we really should have done like a video of us just dying, because we did. We did.
Yeah, so we had a plan going in for like what that was going to look like. And honestly, the process was like the same, but there was a lot of hiccups along the way that I think Nikki learned. She and our office assistant worked on it the first day, and then I jumped in the second day to try and help them out and get it completed and saw some of that process. But you know, we talked about our plan before, pulling the active listing spreadsheet, and you know, it being an easy process, but we did have some hiccups, and I think we learned a couple things that we're going to do differently next time. One of the biggest issues that we had, besides having, you know, 5,000 items to look through and just having to sort through that, probably wouldn't have been as bad had we not have that many items, but we put both the custom SKU, like the location number, and then we also put our cost of goods in that same SKU. And I think that was really tripping us up. When we pulled the spreadsheet, it wasn't sorting correctly for random reasons. We did kind of experiment. We noticed that Google Docs did not have all the same features that Sheets did, or sorry, that Excel did. So I think moving forward, probably purchase a subscription to Excel and then use some of their functions. But I think we've got it down now. We're going to get the kinks worked out. We're actually going to write down our process in like a little bit of a manual. That way we get it right next time. And that way anyone can conduct an inventory, not just people who have previously done it. So,
yep. Yeah. We did it. We made it. We've had lots of laughs. My back still hurts, but we survived. Yeah. And
it really ended up being a tote, right?
Yeah, so there ended up being, it's a heaping tote, so don't get me wrong. There's a heaping tote, and then we had some stuff that had the same numbers too, that we were going to go ahead and switch around just so we only had one item per number. I have a feeling that one of us probably wrote down SKUs and then forgot that the other person had written them down, so we ended up using them twice. No big deal, no harm, no foul. We still would have found them, but just for, I guess, efficiency, we wanted to make sure that we took those out, got them organized, and that those are ready. So our helper went ahead and relabeled all of those, re-entered all the SKUs, and put them away. So that part is done.
We also found about an 800 gap.
Oh my god. This will tell you how freaking nuts it was. So we're going, and our helper finds a number that says 2,400 something. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was 2,400 and some digits. And I literally went to make sure we didn't have another one, because I was like, well, maybe this was like a fluke, maybe this was a repeat, I don't know what's going on with it. And I go to the tote, and I'm like, where's the tote? And I'm like, Cayley, we have nothing from like, I think it's like 2,100 to 3,000. Like, there's no numbers. It's just a gap. And we thought it was really odd, because when we finished our listings, like in just totes, we were at 5,030, but like we don't have 5,030 items. Plus we have bulk and shoes. So it was like somewhere we screwed up. But I'd like literally looked through all the totes, and it just was a fluke, whatever. Anyways, I tell Cayley, I'm like, oh my god, we're off like so freaking many. She's like, yeah, like 800. And I was like, no, Cayley, not 80, 800. And she's like, yeah, that's what I freaking said. I'm like, oh shit, I'm tired. Like, but given this is 2 days, the end of day 2 of going through inventory, and I just looked at her like, no, It's 800. She's like, that's what I said.
Yeah, so normally we have a tote of like, I think we can fit like 25 items in a tote. So normally the tote will be labeled like 3,000 to 3,025. Well, we found that we had one tote that was labeled like 2,100 to 3,000.
Yep,
so
that's what it is.
So, and there were not obviously 800 items in that tote. So we just basically
What's that thing called? Like the Narnia closet? It's just like a gateway that you just go in and there's all 800.
Yeah.
I wish that's how it worked. I wish this was like magical Harry Potter land and you could just climb in the bag and they were all there. But instead, we're going to spend a day building shelves and moving probably 40 boxes. So
it's not that big of a deal because like our inventory's not screwed up. Like the items are still in boxes labeled correctly. It's just now we have to like move these racks forward to account for those numbers in between. I mean, we could just leave it, but I don't think that her and I are like OCD minds would allow that to happen.
Let's also mention the fact that we have literally 5,000 listings and that this is at 2,100. So this is like literally half. We've moved half of the inventory over.
Yeah.
Half. I was just so salty and I can't leave it as much as I don't want to move these flipping boxes again. Because let me tell you that we just expanded the rows and I just physically moved myself every single one of these boxes. Yeah. And now I got to move them all again. And had we known, we could have just gapped it then and it probably would have worked out. But yeah. Anyways, that's enough of my Monday morning complaints because this is going to be a good week. So, moral of the story, inventory is done. It's finished. I do need to check it against List Perfectly still, but once we know we have 100% what we have in eBay, then we can go and compare that to List Perfectly, but that's a whole other story. So
it went well. It just did not go as planned, but now we know for the future, and I definitely recommend if you guys have a big process like that, not just inventory, but like if, for moving. We've talked about before, the last time we moved office, we really need to write down a plan as to how we're going to make that happen next time so that it's pretty seamless. Like we know what we're going to do. So any big process you have, make sure to write it down in like a manual and write down the things that went wrong, the things that went right. That way you don't go through that again. But all in all,
oh my God, this reminds me of like the former employer holiday binders. What went right?
Yeah.
What went wrong? Like, God help me.
Yeah. So it went pretty good. I mean, 5,000 items only coming out with a tote of stuff, a heaping tote, but I would say there's probably like 25, maybe 30 items in there out of 5,000 that were messed up. Most of those are probably from like
way back when,
or they were probably items that like went into a payment queue but never got paid for on eBay. That's usually most of our issue. But yeah, it went well. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Patchwork Vintage Co. Good morning.
So make sure to drop your questions down below. We do a Q&A every Monday. We're happy to answer any questions, not just about the topic that we're discussing, but today's topic, besides inventory and catching you guys up, I thought we would talk about going back to basics. So if you could, in the comments, drop a comment. You might have to take a couple seconds and think about it, but what is one thing you've eliminated, a process you've eliminated from your business that has actually been beneficial, something you got rid of? Can you think of something?
Yeah, but it's not YouTube appropriate.
Oh, I see where you're going.
We eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
So good morning, everybody. So we've been talking about hiring again. We are not doing it I got rid of Mercari.
Yes! I freaking love the search bars on Mercari. Love them. So much easier than all this BS that Poshmark put us through for so flippin' long. Now Poshmark has a search bar. I know. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Poshmark. I love you. But Mercari is like, I don't even know, like just the biggest thorn in my butt. It's just,
We definitely got rid of it for a while, but we have been saying this year we'll probably add it back. It can be a good source of sales. I'll say that. Is it very frustrating at times? It definitely can be. I think the main problem with Mercari is that it's not user friendly for someone reselling. Like, I think it's for a person at home who wants to sell one item here or there. I don't think it's meant for someone who wants to make
high volume.
Yeah, high volume, someone that wants to make it a business. And so for that reason, it's difficult. However, they also have really good analytics, like their sales dashboard's really good. It's just some of the like shipping and listing and like some of the core things that just really don't work, because I don't think it's built for that kind of thing. But I'm seeing some comments come in. We're definitely going to address them, but I wanted to talk about how we're trying to get back to basics, and we kind of evaluate, what would you say, like every quarter maybe we write all of our processes on the whiteboard. If you guys saw that last video we did, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, there's a giveaway in that, and it's still open. So go back and figure out how to get that giveaway for a free month of Bliss Perfectly. But it was the 6 systems videos that we just put out. When I'm on the whiteboard talking about our batch names, you probably see all of that writing there. That is because we recently decided that we were going to probably hire here in a few months. And every time we start thinking about hiring somebody, we also think about eliminating processes to make things simpler. So about once a quarter, just whenever it feels right, usually when we're talking about hiring, we will get on the whiteboard and we will literally write out every single process that we do. And when I say that, we don't just put like
shipping. We put like pull items, put stickers on items, put items in bags. Like, it's annoyingly specific. You'll see it on there.
Yeah, so we put that out, and then we kind of see, do we actually need these things? And for a lot of them that we do every day, we also time those processes, kind of figure out where we're sitting, because by timing, then we know how much we can put on an employee's plate, essentially. But I'm looking at it right now, and literally every time we write everything down, it seems like we have only, 5 steps, but then when we write them down, it fills the whole board, and then you're super overwhelmed, and you're like, oh my gosh, we actually do so much.
That's what our newer person, we had it all written on the board, and she was like, wait, is that everything I do every day? We were like, yeah. She's like, oh wow.
Yeah. So we are looking at eliminating processes. Why do we do this? We go through this pretty often because there's a lot of things I feel like we and other resellers do that really just don't matter. Like, I'm trying to think of some things we've eliminated. One of them is I eliminated a thank you card. We no longer purchase, design, order, and put in bags thank you cards in every single package we ship out. I used to have a separate one for eBay, a separate one for Poshmark, depending on where it was going. We would be putting that in, and that has, seconds add up. It takes time to do all those things. It takes money to do all those things and headspace, and we eliminated that process. Something so small, but it actually makes things so much easier. Can you think of something else we've eliminated process-wise?
A lot of it had to come down with what I call the Ohio rule of only handling it once. So it used to be so Cayley and I would go sourcing. We would just throw stuff on a table, whatever, until it was time for drafts. And then we would wait until Friday. And then we would put all the drafts in for the person that we had currently at that time, our 1099 associate, to photo. So then they would go out to her to photo, and then they would come back into what we called, like, I don't know, the hallway, or like, I don't know. It was like a weird, sketchy room. Yeah. Anyways, so they would go there, and then they would sit for like a week to 2 weeks. And then we had a person at home that solely helped us like add details and helped us create listings based on the details that she got just from photos. And then Cayley or I would pull it, price it, and list it or schedule it depending on what day it was we were looking at. But we were handling that item so many times. So we thought multiple times on kind of how we could handle that process and how we could, I guess, condense it down. And we ended up going with the thought process of hiring somebody in office all the time to not only help us do photos and things to replace those 1099s that we had that left, but also to really have them do the start to finish process. Not only does it help efficiency, but it also helps with quality of work, or I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
Efficiency?
No. Nope. Accuracy. That's the word I was going for. Helps with accuracy. Because sometimes, like, we knew there was a flaw, the photographer missed it, well, then it wasn't in the listings, and then we had to go back and add those things and add photos. Now that same person that's drafting it has that. They take the pictures, they're listing it, they know what the item is, they know what it looks like, they know if it has flaws, so it helps with accuracy as well.
Trying a more start to finish process.
Yeah. And then because of that, we now changed to, you'll see that in the process video as well, but we ended up creating a spreadsheet where we can put flaws, we have pricing and things like that on as well. So it just helps us all be on the same page, and we don't have to touch it again, because now we're pricing it from the moment that we're comping it. We're not comping it twice anymore.
Before we've even purchased it at the thrift store, we're putting it in our spreadsheet.
Yep. And now we know that we're not doing that, comping it twice, we're not touching it twice, we're not listing it twice. It's just a literal start to finish process.
Good morning, David. I like that question. We're going to get to that here in a bit.
Let's go back and see what some people have cut out. Wish you could do away with steaming. Me too. We don't steam everything, though. Only the things that look decrepit and need it.
We're definitely trying to, like, as Nikki said, eliminate touching things more than once. So I would highly recommend, I know it seems so silly, but, like, I would highly recommend, even if you don't have a whiteboard, just get a notebook, a piece of paper, and write down everything. Just, like, brain explode onto the paper or onto the whiteboard. Write out every single process. And then look, where am I doing things twice? Where am I touching items twice? And figure out a way to eliminate that. And then anything that's just like overkill and silly. But we'd really like to get to a point where it's literally just sourcing, photo, listing, shipping, and like that's it.
Done.
Like we've even talked about possibly eliminating white background removal. There's certain reasons we haven't done that yet, but you know, we've even talked about that because editing photos is just one more thing that I don't know is absolutely necessary. I think it helps with the overall appearance of the store, but we're just doing our best to eliminate processes and get back to basics, and highly recommend everybody else do the same. I get a lot of messages on YouTube, eBay, and email of people just asking some really in the weeds stuff that does not, in my opinion, particularly matter. If you don't already have a consistent listing habit, then none of those small details matter. Focus on getting items up consistently, even if that means you're not removing the background, even if it means your packaging is horrible, just to first form a foundation of consistency and then work on the small details. What we got?
Stopping using mannequins.
We stopped doing that too.
We did.
Yeah. Oh, well, half hanging torso. We only use it for like
to select items.
Yeah, select items if they need shaping or something, but we did stop using that.
Pre-boxing hard goods. It was way too easy to mix things up. Preach.
That's a good point.
Plus, sometimes the shipping difference, like the box, could depend on where it's going to.
Yeah.
Might save you some money. I stopped writing down measurements, titles, flaws in a notebook, and brought a laptop and started a spreadsheet so I could copy and paste. That's a good idea. I love copy and paste features.
What do you guys think? And I'll ask you this question because I don't think I've ever asked you this before.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Me right now?
Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of, I won't call them bigger resellers, but I'll call them YouTuber resellers. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of YouTuber resellers on both eBay and Poshmark that made the decision to stop doing measurements. And they also put in their listings that they just don't do them. That if people ask for them, they're sorry, that's just not something that they do. And they just allow the item to sell without measurements. I thought that was interesting. They're obviously eliminating processes, right? But what do you guys think about that? What do you think about that?
I want to cringe already. Like, I don't know. Cayley and I both come from very, like, customer service based businesses. And I can't imagine not answering. I get it. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Some of these questions, like, we said, we're like, can you believe that person
It's a size 2.
But
Do
it's
you
like,
think this will fit a size 6?
No. Like, it's questions like that where I'm like, oh my God. But at the end of the day, like, you want these people to support your business. That's what this is. And like, in my opinion, I think you need to answer their questions no matter how frustrating or annoying they are. And that includes measurements. Like, you also have to think, like, I guess if I don't know, maybe I'm like familiar with Old Navy and I buy Old Navy all the time. I might know what that measurement is because I wear it all the time or because I have something similar. But if I'm looking to kind of search between brands and I've never tried something before, I would want to know measurements so I could make sure it would actually fit me. Plus, I feel like measurements really back you up with like eBay or Poshmark. Like if you have a return and like maybe they're being kind of like doesn't match descriptions or something like that, I feel like that gives you more of a leg to stand on because you're like, no, look, like we included measurements. You had the opportunity to look at them and you didn't. I don't know.
I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing a lot of mixed comments here. So I just thought it was interesting. I think there's give and take to every decision that you make in your business. I think that at first when I heard it, I was like, wow, that must just be so relieving to just be like wiping my hands of it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing measurements. I do, and someone, I forget who, but someone said, you're essentially, in a nutshell, you're wiping out some of your customer base. And I think that's kind of how I look at it. Like, you might be saving a bunch of time. You're going to be able to list more items. You probably still make more sales. But at the same time, you're going to be eliminating half of your customer base who does want to see those measurements. And so I think there's a give and take. I could see sales not changing at all because, like I said, you're saving time so you can list more, but then you're also having your customer base. So, like, I can see both sides of that. I just found it very interesting that a lot of resellers are choosing to do that. It's very interesting. And then some of them say they'll only do measurements upon request, and then they only take measurements when they go pull their items for shipping to kind of like reduce the amount of time they're walking.
I just cringe thinking of that because I think y'all can't see in the background here, but our helper right now is currently pulling items for measurements or for specific questions. And she probably spends 15 to 20 minutes each day going back on items that customers have questions on and doing measurements on those. Now, given everything now we have has measurements, but we do still have older items that don't. And I can tell you it's often that she has to go back and do that. Could you imagine having to do that every freaking day because you just didn't do it while you were doing it?
It's enticing for sure, the idea of not doing it. I will say, I think the main reason, which actually, I don't know if you saw, but we just won a Poshmark return case for this reason. But I think the main reason that we're not going to eliminate measurements is because it does save you on a lot of return cases, particularly on Poshmark. So Poshmark doesn't allow returns for reasons like fit. The only reason they'll accept a return is if the item is not as described. The biggest way that you can eliminate that is by including measurements in your pictures, not typing it out in the description, but in your pictures. We just had, and it's not, I just have to say this because it's not like we are excited to piss customers off. Like, that's just not what it is. But, we do put a lot of detail into a listing, and unfortunately some buyers don't read it. So we had someone who purchased some like Adriana Goldschmied men's pants. The tag size said, I'm just making this up, but 32 by 32. We included measurements. I think the inseam measured like 30 inches. They got them, said they didn't fit properly. They said, you said the size was a 32-inch inseam, but they're actually a size 30-inch inseam. We had the opportunity to comment on the case and say, well, we put what the tag size said, but if you also look in the photos, we actually did measure that and show you that it actually measured a 30-inch inseam. And immediately Poshmark closed the case in our favor. So I think that's the main reason that we're going to continue with measurements. But I just, talking about eliminating processes, sometimes it's not good to eliminate processes, but I just found it really interesting, the different ways that people do things.
One person said they stopped rating handwritten thank yous on the back of cards for Etsy. It was redundant and it took too much time. Yes.
Agreed.
go back and answer questions. I have a couple.
We do have thank you stickers that we put on the bags, but that's all it says. They're not even custom anymore. They just say thank you. Good morning.
CC Lovelace Grace says she loved the video and thinks it's crazy that to not do measurements. Personally, it would come off a little rude. Oh.
Yeah.
Measurements are important. Measurements, yes. Questions on measurements all the time. I think if you don't offer measurements, people will pass over it. Yes, I would. I would not buy from you because I just can't. That's why I also refuse to shop places that don't have bathrooms because I just think that's messed up. I think that's a terrible idea. I did start photographing measurements instead of jotting them down. Measurements are important. So Cayley kind of brought that up. In my opinion, I think it's more efficient for you to just, if you have to lay them down and measure them anyways, in my opinion, it's quicker to just snap a picture and move on rather than writing them down and then having to take a picture of it or writing them into a spreadsheet and then having to go on and copy and paste. I also think it really helps your customers being able to see exactly where you measured to. So I would recommend if you're already doing it, to just snap a photo while you're doing it.
Well, it's like you said, it's taking a 2-step process into a 1-step process because instead of, taking the measuring tape out and then writing it down or
and then moving it,
or
writing
typing it and doing all that. If you're already there, like take the picture, it eliminates like multiple things by doing that. And all platforms now offer so many pictures, you might as well.
Stopped offering free shipping. That's a good one. I couldn't imagine not providing measurements. Not all clothes sizing are the same, especially in women's clothes. Yeah, somebody down below brought up vanity sizing too. So that's where another instance where it would be really important as well. Yep, you can always say, like, look at reviews on brands to ensure a good fit. Things like that would work too.
I usually say something like, since everybody's body is different, please refer to our measurements in the photos and compare them to something you already own.
I cannot measure because it never fails that someone will ask for measurements on the one item that doesn't have them included. I would get 20 measurement questions a day. Yeah. I cannot not measure. Yeah. I only do measurements on pants and provide measurements when requested, except on low price items. Like someone asked me for measurements on a Ray Dunn tank top I listed for $15, and no, I'm not doing it.
It's definitely harder because I find myself doing this too. It's like more frustrating. I find it with offers though. Like if I have a lower priced item and someone is I don't want to say wasting my time, but they're haggling me and causing me to spend a lot of time on a lower priced item, that's when I'm frustrated and I'll usually just want to throw my hands up and be like, I just don't want to deal with it anymore. But like also, if you don't do that, then those items are not going to sell and probably want to move those items out of your closet.
Liz, why does putting measurements in listings not count / help on returns? It definitely does. So I don't know if I maybe said that wrong, but I do think that putting measurements in your listings do help you with returns. Not necessarily on eBay per se, because we accept them anyways for fit. So even if they would get it and they don't like the way that it fits, it's fine. But if you think about like dings on eBay and they're saying that like they're getting something that was not as described, well, no, you did describe because it's in the photos. Like you did include the measurements. Same thing like Cayley mentioned that story on Poshmark that happened just last week. It was like a really quick Posh turnaround where they were like, no, they included photos. You should have seen that. Like they listed the tag size, but they also went above and listed the inseam. So I do definitely think that it does help you. By putting measurements, it also helps your likelihood of people returning things in general, because if you put that something's a size small, well, a size small in this brand and this brand and this brand might be completely different. But if they have the measurements to check, if they check, that's the cue. If they check, you're more likely to know that it's going to fit them rather than getting it back. But
CC Lovegrace said, I thought about writing a generic card and then taking a picture of it for the listing for measurements. That's a good idea. But if, again, this is just my personal opinion, but if you're already going to be getting your camera out to take a picture of that, you might as well just take a picture of the listing. You'd be eliminating another step by having that card and having to write it. Plus, you'd be getting the added benefit of your customer seeing where you're measuring. That's just my personal opinion.
Jessica brought up a point about, answering those questions. Well, if you are if you're getting questions on measurements and you're not answering them, are you still responding to those questions and saying, unfortunately, like, we do not provide measurements? Are you sending that to every single person that's sending it, or are you just completely ignoring it? Because if you're spending the time to respond to every single person, you're definitely going to spend a lot of time doing that. But let's think about if you don't answer the questions. If you don't answer the questions, now it tells eBay that you're not responding to your customers and you're not a very responsive seller. So you also have to keep that into consideration too. I'm sorry too, but like if I ordered something off eBay and somebody was like, no, I don't do measurements, I'd be like, haha, no, then I don't buy from you. So sorry. Yeah. And maybe I'm one of those fluky people, but you also don't want to have eBay having it reported to your buyers or marking you as a not very responsive person as well.
Poshmark tracks how responsive you are too. I mean, every time we do closet reviews, we go onto the About Me section of that person's profile, and what does it say in the top left corner?
Yep, it'll tell you
last time they were active. So Poshmark, eBay, and I'm sure all the other platforms. I know Depop does as well, but they're keeping track of when you were last active, and if they keep track of something, that should tell you that it's important to that platform and you should probably be doing it.
I'm going to go back to a couple of questions here. Liz Logston said, starting to sell on Poshmark, how important are great pics? I see sellers I follow have mannequins, etc., but others slap up wrinkled items on some hangers. Both seem to have good sales. I cringe when I see sloppy pictures. Do I need a mannequin, a steamer, fancy backdrops to be successful? Thanks, Scowls.
Let me give my short and sweet answer, and then I'd like to know if you have a different opinion. But I personally think if you are sourcing great items, it really doesn't matter if you have a mannequin. I would say steaming's probably important, but if you have a great item, all that fancy stuff really doesn't matter because you have a customer base for it. If I'm listing a Patagonia, I could probably lay it on the floor, take a decent photo. As long as it's a clean background, it's probably going to sell. So I guess it really depends on what items you're selling, but I personally do not think that all of those fine details matter a whole lot. I do think you should have a clean, clear, in my opinion, white background, because that's what the platforms tell us to. Do they need to be background removed? Not necessarily. If you've got a white poster board, you've got a white wall, like that would work just as well. But in my opinion, you don't need to have all this fancy stuff if you're already getting great items. Different opinion?
Ditto.
Okay.
No, I mean, I kind of agree. I do like consistency, but I don't know if that's more of like a personal flaw with me, that I'm like highly OCD and I like things to be very meticulous. I can tell you from doing like store reviews, I like to see all the photos looking the same, all the backgrounds either removed or not removed. I think consistency in your photos is huge. I would say stick with a similar background. So I wouldn't like do one color, like, I don't know, maybe you're doing it in your kitchen and it's wood, and then you're doing it in your living room and it's carpet. Like, if you're going from like browns to blues to grays to whites, like, I think that would kind of jumble up. Think about looking at your store down the eBay column. It would look a little jumbled. But I think as long as you're consistently listing with the same backgrounds and the same, I'm going to call it like photo space, so taking up the majority of your photo space with your item, I think that you could probably sell anything if it's good. Buy photos like that. But I would say that for me, consistency is huge no matter what you use. I don't think that using mannequins versus not using mannequins makes a difference. I don't think the color of your background makes a difference, in my opinion. But I do believe in 100% consistency. But again, I'm an OCD person, so that could be me.
About what's more important. Is it more important that your photos look fancy and you spend time and effort into that, or is it more important that you're listing something consistently, or is it more important that you're spending more time researching to get better items at the thrift store? I think a lot of the times, again, going back to the beginning of this conversation, a lot of people get lost in the weeds on these little details when they haven't even gotten the core basics down.
Yeah, you got to start.
Yeah, like listing the right way, picking up the right items in the first place. So
let's also mention that if you're thinking about listing Cayley talks about the most important thing. The most important thing is that you're listing it. Yeah. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you're using the right keywords to bring buyers to it. Your buyer's not even going to see your picture if they don't ever get to the item in the first place. So keywords, titles, details, all of that stuff is the more important before you get to photos. Photos for me is like a little cherry on your sundae. Like, it entices buyers when they see it on the page of saying, oh, this looks like a really good item, or oh, this buyer looks like a really good seller. But you have to have it there first, and then you have to have it with a good description or good keywords to even get them to find it. So think about that in order when you're kind of considering listing. But
absolutely. Hey, we've got 107 people watching, but only 34 thumbs up. Take a moment and give us a thumbs up. It's a free way to help this channel and help get these answers to more people.
David, I'm gonna nail your new listing tool question, because yes. So I do not like it when it comes to like the individual eBay listing. I think it's a pain in the butt that you have to like click on every single like subcategory to open it up. I don't like that. I think it wastes a lot of time. But if you have not tried the new listing tool with eBay Bulk, I would give it a try. If you're very familiar with List Perfectly, you'll know that they have like an inline edit function. And it was very convenient because we could do pricing, we could change something quick on the titles, we could change SKUs really easily rather than clicking on each one and then hitting save. I ran into it when I was preparing for inventory, and I freaking love, big hearts, love the new listing tool in Bulk on eBay.
It's a lot better.
Yes. Yeah. If you haven't tried it, try it. You can migrate there and then migrate back if you decide you don't like it. But it was a game changer for me, and like I would religiously use it. So
we're not going to be excited when we're forced to do it for each individual listing, but as far as the bulk editing functions, we like it a lot. Individual listings, not so much. We're still reverting back to the old way of doing it, but I know eventually we're going to get pushed, unfortunately, to it, and we'll just continue moving along.
For me, taking a pic would be more work because I hang my items to take photos, so I would have to lay them somewhere to take measurement pics. Yeah, we hang our items too. We do lay them down. One cheat sheet for us is that we taped measuring sticks, like tape, soft flexible ones to the table, and we use that to measure them. We used to like have to lay the item out, flatten it, and then unroll the tape and then put the tape on it and then take a picture. Now we just taped it to the table. You literally just pull the item up against it, snap a picture, fold it however you need to for the next one, lay it beside it, snap a picture, and it makes it really easy to just move on and get those things done. So that's what we're doing.
There's a lot of resellers that use the like what would I call this? At an angle flat lay method, where they get like the sticky material, not sticky, but like grippy material, and then it's like a flat lay, but it's like at a slight angle, so you can just throw it on and the like clothing item grips to the fabric. And I know that a lot of those people, and you could probably too, just with a hanger, take a yardstick as you're taking your photos and like hold it up to the item and take a picture while it's still hanging. But I guess if the item was not completely flat, that might be an issue, but
might adjust your measurements.
I know a lot of people that do that like flat lay method inverted, that they just hold up the yardstick real quick and take photos. But we think it's worth the time to lay down on a table.
Yeah, I would put measurements shown in photos as part of the blurb, which we do have. So just in case you didn't know that. Have a laundry system. Well, first let me tell you, we do not wash every single item that comes in here because we would be doing laundry for years. But we do have what we call an outgoing basket of things that we do think need washed. In general, we avoid things that like you can severely tell they need washed. If you think about it, most people typically wash their clothes, or they're hanging in their closet freshly washed before they're donated. So we typically don't pick up things that are stained or that really need any like significant wash. Now, occasionally we get things back and we realize that there's a stain we didn't know about, or that maybe they need washed, and we do wash those. We have what we call an outgoing basket, and whoever's going out and is planning on doing laundry just grabs those, takes them home, and washes them.
Most people also wash before wearing too, so your buyer's getting it and washing it before they wear it. I know it's a controversial topic, but like she said, most things are washed before they're donated, and we also do a lot of steaming. We rely on steaming heavily to sanitize, make the item look clean, and in most cases, steaming is actually more effective than washing. So
I was wondering if you use sell similar for listings about to end ads to your daily listed. I have heard listing the same amount every day is better. We do not use ending and sell similar. We
anymore.
Just roll with the punches.
So Megan, I do have an older video where I was using that ending and sell similar, but even when I did that, it was only to refresh old items. I never counted it as my new listings. I personally, even though you're changing things, do not think that they count as new listings. I don't know, I don't want to say in eBay's eyes or in Poshmark's eyes, but like personally for me, I will never use something like that as new listings. So however many we list today is actual new items that have never been on the platform before. I do think that using sell similar can be a great way to refresh old items and get them moved out, but we stopped doing that because we switched to just a dropping prices method every month, and that's actually been working better for us than the ending and sell similar. The ending and sell similar does take a little bit more time than just dropping prices. I know you guys have asked about the dropping prices a lot. I actually just filmed last week. I just have to edit it, how we're dropping prices on both Poshmark and eBay. So that'll be coming out probably sometime this week. But I do have something coming up to show you guys that. But we stopped using that and we just strictly drop prices every month. But in my opinion, I would never use them for a new listing because I don't think that that's fair to your business.
Rhonda, good morning. If you're struggling with keywords, I would definitely plan on watching our keywords videos. We do keyword videos. I don't know. We were kind of deciding probably like once a month, I think is what we're going to do them on. But we do a little keyword activity on those and use those as a way to kind of help keyword build. Those may be really good opportunities for you if you want to get on one of those. We're obviously not doing that today, but maybe we can plan on doing one next week. If you want to get on next Monday, we could plan on doing a keywords game again, and that way you could participate and see how that does. But I would definitely recommend hopping on if you're struggling with keywords.
You know what the best way, at least for me, to learn keywords is? Just go on Google with a keyword you already know, type it in and go to images, and then at the top there'll be suggested like synonyms. And you can just kind of click into those and learn about each of those keywords. In my opinion, the best keywords are like aesthetic kind of things. So like if you type bohemian into Google Images, you'll start noticing some like words at the top that are similar, like eclectic or something like that. You can click into those and you'll not only have like those synonyms and similar words brought up, but then you'll also be able to view that aesthetic on Google Images to kind of learn about them. And that's really how I've built my keywords bank, essentially.
Thrift and Sister, happy money making Monday.
Yes.
Good morning. I like the crab. It's very beachy. We're both getting very excited to go to the ocean, so we will take all the crabs on here. Heidi, I only use Mannequins for a few items that display better shape. We do the same. If we have like a wrap dress or something that we feel like needs it, we will. We're glad that you could make it today. That's for sure. And we're glad that you find the information that Cayley gives you as beneficial.
It is like a very informative staff meeting. It does feel like a staff meeting.
I like
almost.
the staff meeting. It's so good. It's like the reseller staff meeting in the mornings.
Yeah. I actually, this will be a controversial topic, but I used to love I'm not all of them, but I used to love like having meetings. A lot of people don't like them in the corporate world, but I like them because everybody was able to get on the same page, and you could
like that.
Yeah, and you could just have something face to face and be able to hash things out instead of like over email or over text. And so I personally did like having some meetings to hash things out and to all get on the same page.
Here's my thing, and hopefully y'all don't feel this way, but I always felt like we went to staff meetings, and most times Cayley and I were in these staff meetings together, so she can name this on here, but I legitimately felt like it was a best case scenario. You should be able to do this, blah, 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 blah. And it was always like, you need to do X, Y, Z, but nothing goes wrong. And I hated that, like, you would go and they expected you to be perfect and there was never any flaws and everything was perfect. And I just was like, okay, this is great, but where's the rest of my hours? How am I going to make this happen? So hopefully you guys don't feel like that here, because I do feel like we're pretty realistic. And as much as Cayley and I work, we really like to play too. Like, legitimately, if we stopped getting coffee and stopped going to the spa and like quit getting margaritas, we could probably get way more accomplished than what we do. But we also believe in a very relaxed work environment where we can have fun, we can enjoy ourselves, we can actually thoroughly feel good about what we're doing. Like today, we're taking our new girl to lunch because we think that stuff like that's important. So
I think it helps us work faster. I think even though we slow down
every now and then, it keeps you motivated.
I think it keeps us working efficiently for those times that we do slow down. I saw somebody make a comment being like, a video idea, do a recording of one of your staff meetings. We've actually talked about that, funny enough. We do have chit chats. They're kind of intermittent. We wanted to do them every Monday and Friday, but I think we just kind of do them every day. But we do actually have some short staff meetings, and we've actually talked about recording those. It would probably just be like recording Nikki and I talking about it. But we do go over like mistakes we found in listings, anything new, things we're eliminating, things we're working on, where we want to go, if we're increasing listing goals. So we do have those meetings. Maybe we'll think about doing something like that.
Julie, we do not wrap everything in tissue paper. We typically will wrap like belts, shoes, purses, things like that need protecting in tissue paper. We do not add thank you cards anymore. We used to, but we found that it was not beneficial financially. We do now.
This is how we ship. It's already prepackaged. We put a thank you sticker, we put it in a poly bag, and we ship it.
Yep. So we do not add thank you stickers. We do not add thank you cards anymore. We do put thank you stickers over top of our SKU label, so customers don't see those, but we do not wrap everything in tissue paper unless it is necessary. Posh has had many clear outs in a row, so likers expect a discount. I just can't do 10, then 20, or a third discount. How can you handle liker disappointments or re-inspire them?
Let me reread this question real quick. Is it Kai in NC? So this will be a short answer, but we used to never participate in Poshmark like events, and to be honest with you, it's more like a secondary platform for us. We're working really hard to like make it primary, provide the best customer service, and be more involved with it. But just to be honest with you, it is like a secondary platform for us. But one way I've combated that, especially regarding like closet clear outs and stuff like that, or the challenges, we use Posher VA, which is an extension that does all that for me. So I am using it to drop prices. I try to do it on like a closet clear out day so that I can get the most bang for my buck and so that customers get the most bang for their buck. But not only is there a drop price function, there's also an increase price function. So what that means is if one day you want to do closet clear out and you tell Posher VA to drop all of your prices by 10%,
or,
then the next day you can go back and increase your prices by 10% and then just do the same thing every time, if that makes sense. But Posher VA makes it really easy to do that. As she said, we have over 5,000 listings, and right now we've got everything on both platforms. So there's actually 5,000 listings on Poshmark, And so we would not be able to individually go or even use Poshmark's bulk function very easily or efficiently to drop prices. So we use Posher VA. There's a link down below in the description. There's also like a coupon code down there. They do a free 7-day trial where you don't even have to put in your credit card. Absolutely would try it. They share for you. They drop prices for you. They also send offers to likers. You can choose how many minutes. I think I have ours set to like after 5 minutes of somebody liking an item, they get sent an offer. But like it does all of it. It's so painless, and it's a great way to participate in things like closet clear out and get your prices back up after they're done. So that's what I would recommend. If I did not have that, we would just not participate and stuff like that.
It'd be too difficult.
Yeah.
When you create your listings on eBay, initially, do you sell similar off a comp or start brand new? We start brand new on everything because I can't say everything. Unless it's like a real specialty item that it's the exact same item and it tends to be like a really high dollar item, something along those lines. But typically we do not use sell similar. I can think of maybe like 3 instances in a year that I've seen Cayley do it specifically.
Because our lister is not the one doing comps, they are probably not going to use a sell similar. And because they're also not the ones, and I know you can do a sell similar off of your own listings, just because we've trained her a start to finish process, she doesn't necessarily dip her toes into things like comps or like looking through our active listings. Because she hasn't really touched on those things, it's not something we've trained her to do. So we do it like a start to finish process, but we do things that we do in bulk to kind of help that are similar to that. But because she's not involved in either of those processes, that's why we don't really use a sell similar for listing.
Patchwork says she drops prices 5 to 10% as I end and sell similar. That's a really good plan. If that's your plan, is to sell similar, it would be a good opportunity for you to go ahead and drop prices at the same time. Lots of mentions of the keyword document. I do think it's in the description, so if y'all are interested, you can purchase it. I do think we'll eventually update it at some point, just because there's a couple things like types of clothing, like everyday casual things I'd like to add one for. We also talked about doing one for like intimates we might add one for, but we have not updated it yet.
It's on the
hopefully
website
soon.
Yeah, if you look up like in the description it says like digital documents or something like that, there's a link to our website where you can purchase the keywords, strings documents, and or an eBay or Poshmark review.
Patchwork says, all in all, we should be enjoying our lives. We definitely are enjoying our lives. That's for sure. Gotta have fun. I think you should call your Monday video reseller staff meeting. LOL. We could do that.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do a shipping video ship with us? Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a playlist. Sorry, I kind of rebooted there for a second.
My robot next door here.
There's a playlist on my channel called Ship With Me. I have done some in the past, but it's been a while because I'm not typically the one shipping anymore. But I'm sure that our new person would not mind if we took over shipping one day and filmed it so that she could get some extra stuff done. So
we're staring at her. She's looking at me.
Yeah, we could definitely do a ship with me. It'd be fun. We'll probably do it on a Monday, I'd say. So
yeah, so there's a decent amount of shipping. Clear bags. Where do you get your small clear bags? Is that Amazon? Or are those the Uline ones?
Well, I get them off of Amazon, but they are Uline. I choose to purchase them on Amazon because I get them in 2 days. So I think there's a link to it in the description below. Like all my Amazon links are down there.
You're right, Thrift Generation. Thank you cards can add ounces. Sometimes that will push your packages from first class to priority. Hate to leave, but must. Thanks, Cayley and Nikki. I'll watch the rest of your video tonight. So thankful I found you, and the help you offer is appreciated. Thanks, Liz. Have a good Monday.
Yeah.
I agree, Margie. It really helps set up my day. It motivates me. Y'all are so helpful and encouraging. Aw. Thank you. You guys make my heart happy. This is really awesome to see y'all live, and thanks for the info on Posh/Posher VA special price and drops.
It's a game changer for real. It does so much, and it's only I think it's like $25 a month, which is better than any of the other ones I've seen. And they just came out with a new feature, which you'll see in the video that I'll be posting soon about how I drop prices. But they have a new feature where you can tell it drop prices for anything so many days old. And you can tell it how many days. So
yes,
we do 90 days in, 90 days out. So we've been using it and just putting in anything 90 days or older and dropping prices. So.
CC Lovelace Grace says, you pack and ship for Paula's are literally the best I've ever used, and they're the cheapest. We'll have to check those out.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
I like the thought of putting everything in bags and labeling them ahead of time. I just can't get past using an extra bag that's just going to end up in the trash. I do measurements and listings, but sometimes they want more. Yeah, so oh, hold up. That was 2 together. I like the thought of putting everything in bags and labeling them ahead of time. I just can't get past using an extra bag that's going to end up in the trash. We do not pull them out of the bag. So the bag that they're in now is what?
It's just that comment that just came through.
Oh. We just ship them. So even though they have the little label on them, that's what we put the thank you sticker over top of. So we do not use bags twice. We literally just pull the item out.
I think they're meaning the clear bag plus the poly is wasted plastic.
I can see that.
I agree. I don't know. I see other resellers who just put it in a poly bag, and to be honest, in my opinion, it is enough to get to the buyer for most items. There are some things like leather goods and stuff that I think do need protected a little bit more. But I agree that just shipping it in like a poly mailer is probably enough to get that to the buyer. But unfortunately, the buyer does not see it that way. And so if you ship it not protected or presented well, not everybody, but I would say probably 50% of your buyers are going to be unhappy with it. And at least our buyers. Our buyers, we literally just got positive feedback, but we just got feedback on eBay that said they wish their shoes were packaged better. Let me tell you what we do for shoes. We wrap each one in tissue paper. Then we put them in a protective clear bag, and then we put a thank you sticker on that bag to seal it, and then it goes in a box. And then if there's any space left in that box, we put an air jacket to not let it shake around, and still that was not enough for that buyer. So I'm just saying, I totally get where you're coming from. I wish we did not have to use that much as well, but it's up to the buyers, right? Margie, I'm not sure which way you pronounce it, but thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat.
Appreciate you. How do you respond to questions after packaging? I hate to tell the customer no, but it always ruins the bag when I reopen it, and it takes time. I do measurements and listing, but sometimes they want more. This goes back to our earlier question. If you want to sell it, unfortunately, you're going to rip your bag open, and you're going to do the measurements, and you're going to give them those measurements. It does suck to have to rip the bags open. We typically don't seal our bags. We have them in them, but they're removable still.
They're flap bags.
Yeah.
They're not sealing. There's no adhesive. They're just flaps.
Even the ones that we had that used to be sealing that had a pull off on them, kind of like a poly mailer, we just didn't fold those or seal them. We just left them open. So I would recommend leaving them open just until you're good, you're set, you're ready to be. But Thrift Generation, you might be my new hype girl. I haven't seen what was the other lady's name? Lisa.
Hype guy. I can't
Lisa.
tell.
Oh yeah, I guess I should have looked at the photos. I wasn't paying attention. Hype person. But Lisa has not been on today, and she's normally my hype girl. So you are going to be my hype person for the day. And you're right. If you do not start giving us those thumbs up, because there's 117 of you, and there's 63, including the one that I put on Cayley's thing, 63 likes. That's half. If y'all don't do that, I'm going to be go get your kids up. So I'm telling you, we can at least hit 75 by the time that this video ends.
Yeah, 119 watching, 66 thumbs up.
Yes, Thrift Generation, you can be my hype girl for today. Yes. So you need to get those likes going, Thrift Generation. Otherwise, you're going to have to wake up your kids. I don't know how many kids you have, but you might have to have some more because I mean 75 is a stretch. Let me tell you. You have about to have 5 kids in 5 minutes, so we're about to speed this baby up.
Thank you guys for the likes. We do.
Girl, I'm dying. My eyes are watering.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
Live chats are just the best. You guys are game changer YouTubers. Y'all, listen, let me just be honest with you. This is Cayley's show. Like, I just come in the mornings, I show up, and she's like, hey, y'all want to get on? I'm like, sure, I'm right here. Why not? So, this is Cayley's show. She is the one who taught me everything. So, thank her. I'm just along for the ride, and I'm super spunky. So, y'all just get my sarcasticness. So,
she's lying. She does a lot, both in scene and behind the scenes for social media.
No, I'm just the wacko one that rides fur ponies through thrift stores for funsies. And goes to the dress section and tells every woman that every dress they pick out is going to look fabulous on them. It's my favorite thing. Price comes into play. Also, I definitely put higher end or more expensive items in a clear plastic bags. I wrap less expensive items in tissue paper. That's true. Especially items that you know are going to go out to like be a higher item. You might want to add shipping protection. You might want to wrap it in an extra bag. You might want to wrap it in tissue paper, then put it in the bag. An extra thank you sticker. We had an order for a Julie something that went out a couple weeks ago. She bought like 5 or 6 items from us. It was a couple bundles, and she was a repeat shopper. So I put a handwritten thank you note in there, and I also sent her a couple pair of matching earrings for her items so she could look pretty. So sometimes I like to do special things like that just because, for funsies.
Customer service goes a long way, and we're definitely not saying to eliminate everything to the point where, you know, your buyers never feel special. We're just saying, you know, when you're shipping out this many items, you might consider eliminating some things that aren't making that much of an impact. But things like she said, and I was guilty of it. I mean, I've been so focused on efficiency. Like, that bundle went out and she said she wrote a thank you card, and I was like, wow, I'm terrible. Like, I don't even think about those things anymore. But it is, like, in all honesty, it can be important, especially for your repeat buyers, especially for people who are spending a lot of money with you, to do those additional things and take that extra step.
Well, and it's nice when you've maybe bought something before and all you got was a thank you sticker. Not saying all you get, but you get as a thank you sticker, and you're like, oh, this is cute. Well, then you buy again, and maybe you buy a few items. Well, hopefully she got those items and she was like, wow, like they really appreciate this. This was above and beyond. And that makes them want to check your site more and come back to you more. So it also shows them that it's like a step above that appreciation level you give them the first time. It's more personalized. My husband, y'all, he's into disc golf. I don't know if any of you even know what this is, but legitimately talking about packaging. Frisbee golf. Disc golf. He got a package this week, and the guy like put on like a handwritten thank you note that said like thank you with his name, and said, it's nice to see you're still out on the course. Hope you're enjoying the weather. Have a good summer. And I was like, hold up, how many discs you bought for this guy? And come to find out, there were a few more than I knew about. But that's a whole other story. But, you know, it was something that, like, even for me, it drew my attention. And I was like, oh, like, this guy, he knows your name. He wrote it on the paper. He knows some of the courses you've gone to. So, like, it told me that he really did support it. It's another small business. And if we can do the same kind of thing for them and just write a quick thank you note and ship it off, it's good. Like I said, I'm really bad about random things, but I think I'm going to start shipping earrings sometimes for funsies too, because my friend makes them and they look great, and sometimes I can get them to match outfits. So
we just got feedback. I don't know if you saw it, but somebody said something about like awesome item delivery or something like that. I have 3 hoodies from you.
Did you see that? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were like talking about their most recent purchase, but then in that like that comment they put, I have 3 hoodies for me, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even like know. I feel so bad, you know, like we were gonna have to keep an eye out for that name, you know.
We have so many that go out that it's hard. Thank you, Thrift Generation. That's very kind of you. I do appreciate it. But you're a designated hype girl now. I've got a few of you that I recognize your names, and I'm asking you all to be my hype girls. So, or hype guys if you're guys. You guys are so cute and humble about it. I'd be like, damn, like my video. Yeah, that's really what I want to say, but Cayley tells me I'm not allowed to cuss on YouTube, so I try very hard to rein it together and leave that only for TikTok. But y'all, you wrote it, so I said it. I guess I was reading. I didn't technically say it, so.
We can't force y'all to like us. We've been getting some pretty nasty comments lately, actually, on YouTube.
We had to block a couple people.
Yeah.
Because they were not being very appropriate and they were stalkerish, and I'm not getting into that because the last time I got eaten alive for telling people I didn't want to be stalked. But long story short, we're glad you're all here. I buy my packaging from U-Haul and it's only $10.55 for a huge box. I wrap my shoes in packing paper and then in a large poly. Cayley, I don't even know where she got it. She got like, I think it was like 3,000 sheets of tissue paper. Like, I might have tissue paper for the next like 30 years because she has so
every birthday, Father's Day, everybody's
Christmas,
getting white tissue
we're all gonna
paper.
be in here wrapping our stuff on this stuff with white tissue paper. Do you guys ever message buyers thank you on the app? I don't have the time unless it can be automated, but I do feel like when I did that, I had a ton of repeat buyers. That's a good idea. We do not do that.
Yeah.
But if there was an automated way, I do think that would be a really good option.
Maybe I should reach out to Posher VA and see if they'll do that. I'll tell you one thing. There have been a couple times I've purchased on Poshmark or on eBay items for myself, and I immediately after purchasing got a message from the seller that said, thank you for your purchase, just letting you know I'll be shipping this out tomorrow morning or something like that. It was so simple, but I was like, wow, like
that's cool.
Yeah. It was like a really top-notch like extra step, but I don't know how we would be able to, like you said, do that for, we're shipping out like 500 to 600 items every month. I just don't know how we could maintain doing that. I mean, a copy and paste would probably be fine, but I do agree with that does go a long way. I just don't know if we could implement that with the amount we're selling right now. But I liked that. I liked when a couple of those sellers did that.
Thrift Generation says, we are retired military and I live in a military town, and those military packers use so much paper. It's great for packing items. And another woman said that she's active military and we all save all of our paper every time we move. I'm assuming for shipping as well. So first of all, thank you all for your service. That's great. We appreciate you guys. And I'm glad that it's a perk as well because you have so much extra paper for free.
We do save, like, every time I order something from Amazon, we'll save those boxes and the packing material in it, like the air jackets or bubble wrap and the craft paper. We do reuse those, but
I try, but my freaking kids, my God, you want to talk about kids? My kids will steal every box I have. I set them by the door to go to work, and then I come back, and my son has either stomped on all the bubbles and popped them all, or he's, like, made a fort with this box. Or my daughter, like, she's very frugal, very thrifty. She likes to, like, make inventions with boxes. My house is freaking full of cardboard. And these, no offense, but, like, have y'all ever have kids and, like, they make these, like, really cool things, but they're not really cool. Like, oh my God, I'm out there burning them when she's sleeping because I'm like, how many freaking cardboard things can you have? But I never bring boxes to work because my kids are building forts and drawing and making grocery carriers that rip on the first try.
I think I made myself cars a couple times. Thought it was a good idea out of boxes.
Lord. Okay. All right. Any other last minute questions before I get really in the weeds and make you wake up your kids? We're at 84, so I feel like we can get to 100 or Thrift Generation's waking up her kids and all the military kids around her because we need those likes.
Yeah, we're about to end, so drop any questions you guys have. Thanks so much for being here. There's about 115 people on, 85 likes. We appreciate you guys getting on and spending some time with us. It definitely makes our week. It's fun to catch up with everybody.
Thrifty Nancy says, I use coupons to buyers. You can set up a permanent thank you note on those coupons. That's a pretty good idea, too.
Yeah, I feel like we're behind on the coupons. I get asked that a lot because eBay has the new send coupons to repeat buyers. I haven't figured it out yet. It probably would take me 5 minutes to just sit down and figure it out, but we just haven't yet. But I agree, we need to look at that.
Thrift Generation, I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to like the video from my own phone so that you don't have to go wake up your children. But y'all are pretty close. Oh.
Got an ad.
It's a she-fit ad.
Really? We just sold a she-fit. That's funny.
Okay, I gave you a like. We're at 88. 12 more, or you're waking up your whole family and your friends and your neighbors. The neighbors you like, the neighbors you don't like, the neighbors behind you. Hit that thumbs up. She's got comment after comment. She's like, please. You're probably like, don't do this to me because it's summer and my kids are sleeping. I don't know if you have year-round schooling or not, but if they're sleeping in today, it's a good day. I only send coupons if someone messages and offers, so it would be a bin, especially on the higher priced items. Yeah, that's good.
I really like that eBay is showing the repeat buyers now. They even show it in like the shipping now too on your orders page. It shows you a little green button that says repeat, and then also on your performance tab it now says your kids have been up since 6. And on the performance tab it'll tell you like a total for whatever date you choose, how many were new buyers, how many were repeat buyers, and it's pretty interesting. We have a lot more repeat buyers than I realized.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it until it popped up on the shipping page, and I was like, well, that's really cool. I didn't notice that before. And it is nice to see that there's multiples. And I don't know, I thought about getting like maybe some pre-made like larger thank yous, or like maybe hand filling out a few that we can just like add names to when we have some that buy bigger bundles that are repeat customers. But as of right now, I literally like stop everything, take a minute, fill out a legitimate full handwritten card and send them in right now. But if we get a bunch of repeat shoppers like that again, then maybe we'll have to have something a little bit extra that we can give them. But yeah, as of right now, we do not do that for everybody. Hello from Oakland, California. If I'm looking for something, I'll check all the eBay, YouTubers, friends, stores first. Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
I won't say that I look for anyone specific, but I definitely buy stuff off of Poshmark and eBay pretty often.
I can't buy full price stuff anymore. Like, it's a legitimate problem. Cayley broke me. I'm pretty sure. Like, I used to pay full price for everything. Before I started with Cayley, I'd literally never been in a thrift store my entire life. And now, like, I just can't. I took my daughter with me last week, and we got, like, $50 in clothes. I kid you not, that kid bought, like, everything under the sun. And she, like, thought that she was, like, high-class living because she could buy pretty much whatever she wanted when we went. I didn't tell her no for once. And she was really excited, got some really cute stuff, and she's, like I said, very frugal and likes to save the environment, kind of hippie-ish, and she was very excited that she was saving clothes from going to the landfill. So
clothing's expensive full price.
Yeah,
it's very expensive. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we are at almost an hour and 20 minutes. We always say it's going to be 30 minutes, and then we've been trending like an hour and a half here recently. So it was really great seeing everybody come on. Thanks for being here. And we're planning on only doing lives on Mondays now, unless something changes. We wanted to give ourselves some time to be able to do store reviews and work on just more regular videos, like getting more time to do what sold, some more keywords videos, and then also any future projects. Like everybody's been talking about, wanting some kind of a mentorship group, and we do want to do those things in the future, but we have to have time to plan them. So we've been spending one less day a week doing lives and spending more time on other things. So please join us on Mondays. We'll probably try and stagger morning and afternoon sessions, I feel like, as we can, but just stay tuned, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys next week on Monday.
Thanks for those 101 likes.
Yes, thank you. We made it.
We appreciate you. That makes my heart happy. I feel achieved for the day.
All right.
Have a good week. Make some money. Bye.